and welcome to another build stream. We'll just give it a couple of minutes, wait for the bots to ping in the Discord servers, and then we'll make a start on this, which is the TMO50. I can see Tronics, hey man, good to see you. Anarchy as well in chat, glad to see you both here. Hello to anyone else who's watching already as well. Hey man, good to see you. Let me know if audio levels are okay again, because Brian and I share the same software now. Any changes one of us makes affects the other one, so there might be some ups and downs. So do let me know if audio levels are too high or too low, or if we need to do anything to change that. Still getting read up. And Tootsie Roll as well. Hey, this is the first stream of yours I'm going to see. Oh, I'm really happy to have you here. Genuinely, I love to show people what I do and share all of this kind of stuff. So I'm really happy to have you on stream. Anarchy says the audio sounds fine, which is good. So thank you very much for that. Interesting. Today we're going to be using these switches, which are the Gateron Ink Series. So I don't know how well you guys can see on here, but they are a smoky housing switch. And I've been using these for about 2-3 days in a hotspot board. I had the springs changed to 78 gram as well, and lubed them with 205 grade 0. But they are really, really nice little switches. It's not showing up very well. There you go. That's kind of a good angle to see the how smoky they are. And Geo as well. Hey man, good to see you, Geo. Yeah, these switches are really nice. They're linear. They do come with 60 gram actuation, 70 gram bottom out springs as stock, but I've changed these for 78 grams and they feel amazing. They're so smooth. I'm not too sure on sound yet because the board I've been using them in is a wooden case, so this may sound very different to a wooden case. We'll see how that is when we get there. But anyway, we're still waiting for the bot to ping, so we'll give it another few minutes. It looks like the stream and everything else is stable as well. Tootsie Roll, nice looking switch. I'm pretty new to this stuff. Sorry, not stiff. I've never seen this inky style. This is a brand new switch. It's not on the market yet. Mike from Novel Keys, who's one of our sponsors, you can see his name just up here now. He kindly sent Brian and I some of these switches to try out, and they're going to be on the store soon. Oh, and Anarchy with the Twitch Prime subscription. Thank you very much. That's 2 months in a row. Thank you very much, dude. I really appreciate it, Anarchy. Really appreciate it, man. Speaking of which, we need to start thinking about the next UK meetup and where we're going to stay and if we're going to go out for beers or not. Because I'm going to try and get Chris around again, and me, you and Chris make a good team on those meetup night games. Okay. And Tootsie Roll subscribed to Twitch Prime as well. Thank you, Tootsie Roll. We appreciate that. Thank you. And it's Kelly. Here's Kelly. Hey, yo. Okay, so guys, if you are going to watch this stream, and like everyone else, I think we're all going to watch Nathan Kim's stream later on, Kelly, Holy Pandas Aren't Great, is going to be running a J stream wind down and a Nathan Kim waiting room stream straight after this, where he's going to build one of my boards that I sent to him, which is a Daisy with a custom PCB. So he's going to build that on stream. Straight after we finish here today, he's going to set up his stream. I'll try and host him on here if I can work out how to do that. I've never done that before. If not, he's going to keep us all tiding over until Nathan Kim goes live in a few hours. And Kelly's also saying he's not subbed anymore. Man, if you want me to host you after this, you better sub and tell me how to host you, because I don't know how to do it. Yeah, this is going to be a speedy build, you're right, and probably the Daisy is going to be a pretty speedy build as well. Martin, it's the Rose PCB. I don't know if that was you and Max, or just you. I don't know. It's the Rose PCB that we're using for the Daisy, or that Kelly's going to be building with later on. We've also got Lex as well. Hey Lex, good to see you, man. Really appreciate you being here. Woo woo keep. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Who else have we got? We've got Jacques XYZ as well. Hey, good to see you. Yeah. Lunatwix as well. What up? Yeah. And Mr. Evil Genius himself, drinks at the meetup equals. Yes, absolutely. I remember the last one talking with Amber and you about a board that we were designing whilst drunk called the MX Dildo. For anyone else who wants to know that, it was basically MX stems on top of dildos that you could put keycaps on. So there we go. And we've got the ineffable Chris Swires as well with the bits donation, 133 bits. Thank you very much, Chris. Really appreciate it, man. You may recognise this because this was your board, so thank you very much, Chris, for letting me take this off your hands. We've also got Jay Saints as well. Hey, man, good to see you on stream. Lunatwix is also commented on Martin's PCB for the kayak. It's so nice. It is really good. I've got 2 in a drawer here. I'm currently waiting my kayaks from mech boards, and then I'm going to build those as well. We've got Mello as well. Hey Mello, good to see you. Shark Stream and Titan 2. Good evening. It's probably not evening where you guys are, but it is here. It's about 8 PM, so good evening to you all. Okay, has the bot pinged as yet? I don't think it has. Let's double check. No, it's still not pinged. Slow bot today. Slow bot today. And Chris Swires with the 1004 bits. Thank you very much for that, Chris. Really appreciate that, man. Gat Inks, yes, these are Gat Ink switches. We will be talking about them in a little bit, what I've done to change them and how good they are, what my thoughts on them are, before we build the TMO50. There we go. And Joseph Brewer subscribed with Twitch Prime. Thank you very much. That's 4 months in a row. Really appreciate that. I hope you realise everyone is now in the business of smelling their switches because of you. I watched Tahir Types sniff switches for 10 minutes the other day. Oh, really? It's only because the creams have a distinct smell, and I mentioned it to Brian on the Top Clack show last week. Someone sent me on Discord the link to Nathan Kim's smelling switches because that's hilarious. That's really hilarious. Who else have we got? Lunatic3rd says, I just need David to sort out the plate soon. Oh, for your kayak as well. Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for. And it's Jordan. Oh, well, hello, Jordan. Yes, I recognise your name now. Oh, Chris, thank you very much. Love you too, man. It's the POM. It is Titan. It is the POM, and it does have a very distinct smell to it. Most switch stems are actually made from POM, but they don't have that scent. I assume that's because they've been in the factory for a while, so they've been, you know, handled or out in the open, and that smell's dissipated over time. Whereas with the creams, there's a lot more POM material in there, and it does smell significantly. But that's just one of those things. Kelly, I hope you enjoy walking your dog, and let me know when you get back. Okay, so the bot still hasn't pinged. It's taking its time today, but I am glad you're all here. So what we'll do is we'll start talking about switches, and hopefully the bot will ping in a couple of minutes. So these are Gateron Ink Series switches. They're a smoky coloured housing. Opona with the 17-month Twitch Prime resub. Thank you, man. Really appreciate that, dude. Really appreciate that. Thank you. So these are a Gateron linear. They are smoky housings. As you can see, if I show the leaf just here, you can see it's kind of got that smoky tinge to it. I'll try and get this a bit closer to the camera so you can see. They're very similar to the clear ones in feel, so I suspect they're going to sound very similar to a clear Gateron as well, the SMD ones. The stem's black, and the springs come with a 60-gram actuation and 70-gram bottom out. Now that was a little bit light for me, so I've changed these, and I've now got sprit springs in here which are 78 grams. The switches have been lubed. I broke them in for about 4 days over the course of a few hours each day, totaling about 8 hours, and there was a significant improvement in that time, so I think it leads me to believe that these will break in even better with more time. I've lubed them with 205G0 on the housing and the stem, and then Krytox 106 on the spring, because I just find that oil works better for a spring as well. Cyber Sam with the subscription for Twitch Prime, 10 months in a row, 10-month streak. Thank you very much, Sam. I really appreciate that. Me6 didn't even ping anyone. It's not pinged as yet. No, it's been very slow today. It's a shame. I don't know what's going on. And Ms. Evil Genie says, are they the same colour as the T1? They're not. Hold on a second, because I do have some T1s just here, but they're balancing on about 1,000 different things. So let me just get this down and show you. Okay, so these are T1 switches, and these are the smoky ones. So as far as I know, only Way and I have a batch of these at the minute to test out. These ones don't suffer from the premature actuation that the clear ones do, so I've got clear ones as well, and I've had more of those suffer with premature actuation than these, so that's one of those things to watch out for if you are buying T1s. These are going to look almost black on stream compared to these. You're probably only going to be able to really tell that they are both smoky housing if I do that. So you can see that the T1 is a lot darker than the Gateron Ink, which is a lot paler. So the smoky look is very, very different. This is a lot more subtle on the Inky, and this is a lot darker. It's almost opaque in some ways on the T1. So there you go. Hope that answers that question. And Met Advice Guy as well with a tier 1 subscription. Evening Jay, hope you had a great week. I did, it was a good week, thank you very much. And Jack with where can you get Gat Inks? So these are going to be for sale on Novel Keys. You can see that banner just up here. They should be on sale in the next couple of days. Mike's away on business until today, I think. I think he's back tomorrow at work. So you might see these go up on store at some point this week. I think they're going to be in the standard 60 cents a switch kind of range, but he hasn't told me a price. That's just a guess at the moment. But they are going to be available in the next couple of weeks. So if you do want them, jump on them when they come up. I don't know how many he's got in stock. All I know is he sent me 70 of them, and I'm really keen to try them out in a full build, a permanently soldered build. I've only had them in a hot swap board, so that's not a true test. Oh, there we go. You might have just heard that. My computer's just pinged. The top Clack bot has let everyone know now. What are we talking about in chat? Mr. Grinseppo says, good evening, Jay, and good evening, fellow top clackers, and good evening to you, sir. Yeah, so these are the ink switches. I'm really looking forward to using them. Sorry, I'm losing my voice at the minute. And my stream music has crashed again. I don't know why it keeps doing this. It has been on there all day without crashing once, and then as soon as I put the stream on, it crashes. And good evening, Neurowinter as well. Thank you very much for joining. Or good morning for you. It's evening for me, 8 PM here. So thank you very much for joining and watching. So this is the board we're going to build today. Let's talk about the TMO. That's the switches. We can come back to them if anyone's got any questions. But this is the TMO50 in rose gold. Now this is second hand to me. It was Chris Swire's board. It's one of the few boards he's ever sold, and I'm very, very grateful to him for doing that, because I've been after one of these since the group buy came up, and I was so sad when I didn't get in. I see it as kind of being almost like a younger brother to my Mini. Kind of a similar kind of theme with the macro column on the left. Met Advice Guy says he's so jealous that I got a TMO50. I know, man. I struggled for a couple of weeks offering silly money to try and get hold of one, and then Chris was kind enough to sell me one. And Neo Jonathan and Soran, hey guys as well. Yes, it is a TMO. So in terms of TMO, let's talk about the board. It is top mount. If I tilt it like that, you should be able to see the notches where the plate screws to the top. It's also left side USB port, which is quite nice. This version has the aluminium top in the Olivia colourway, which is basically rose gold. We all know Olivia loves that colour. Brass plate and then a polycarbonate bottom. So the polycarbonate is about 4mm thick. It's quite a nice solid piece of polycarbonate. It's just really nice little board. In terms of the macro columns, it does have 4 switches for a macro column in here. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to put on there for yet, but we will look at the key mapping a little bit as well. I'm going to show you a bit of QMK configurator because Merlin's got everything looking good on the new beast of that. And then there's 4 indicator lights as well, which I haven't decided even if I'm going to put LEDs in there yet or what colour I'm going to put in. So if I do, those will be a different stream where we'll do it as a quick catch up. In terms of the layout, it is a 50% layout with HHKB blockers, which I think looks just fun as hell. It's such a good looking board. It's so cute, and it's tiny as well. I've got really small hands, so you know, if Brian was holding this, he'd cover it all up with one hand. It's that small, but it is really, really nice. So there we go. So if we have a look inside, just on the underside, you can see that we've got tabs here and all the way around. There is 10 tabs to hold the plate in, which is a little bit excessive, I think, for a top mount board. It's going to mean it's rock solid. That's my kind of deal. I prefer a more solid board. Some people prefer soft boards with more flex. I like them really firm and solid. There is a gap right underneath here, so this will be quite close to the actual plate and switches. If you look, it's quite thick is the blocker, so it's going to be really deep. It's going to be pressed up against the plate when that's all screwed down, and that means we're going to get no gaps, no light bleed or anything else. In terms of the plate, nice simple affair. Now the board does run 2 options. You can have standard stagger on the middle row, you can have an alternate stagger. I'm going to go for standard because I really struggle to change layouts too much, but that is an option on here as well. Interesting to note as well, back on the top here, if you see here the screw mounts as well for the actual base and top, they have got a kind of dimple in them to accommodate the thread, and that's actually replicated on the plate as well, which is kind of nice to see. I don't know if you guys can see that detail. It is quite small, but there's kind of like a little notch cut out, which is really nice to see that it's well thought out and well laid out from that respect. Gap here for the LEDs to show through, as we can see on the top, so that's so we can see here those LEDs, and the plate goes underneath where the blockers are as well, which is quite a nice little touch. It does support two options. You can have either split space bar or you can have full space bar. I'm going to go for full because why not? And we can always change it if we want to and come back to it, depending on how these Gateron Ink switches go. Okay, looking at the base, as I said, it's about 4mm thick on average. If you look down here, the thickest part is probably about 6mm, 7mm, and the thinnest is about 2. So it's about an average of 4mm thick all the way through, but it's a really nice, solid piece of polycarbonate. Very little flex to it, a little bit but not much, which is a really nice piece of plastic effectively. It's going to really accentuate that underglow. Okay. Looking at the PCB then, you can see we've got the macro columns on the left hand side, left hand USB, we've got all of the options here for the LEDs, and then as I say, this middle row you can have the two different staggers of the switches. I'm just going to be going standard stagger because that's what I prefer and what I like. And then you've got the two options for the space as well. You can either go split space and have 2 space bars, or you can go full space and have a full 6.25 U bar as well. So there we go. That is the board. Let's just catch up with chat because there's been a few bits going on there. So first of all, big shout out to Andy Holland. Thank you very much for the subscription. I really appreciate that. 3 months already. You are a legend. Thank you very much, dude. What else are we talking about? Near into with 9 AM here. Perfect Monday at work stream. Oh, you must be the other side then. I've got to sleep it and then go to work. But I'm glad you're watching, dude. Thank you very much for that. It would have been better if it wasn't staggered. I would struggle with an ortho board. I probably wouldn't have wanted it as much, but if they're doing R2, it would be nice to have an ortho option, maybe a separate plate and PCB. What else are we talking about? Stocks. Struggle for a couple of weeks. Oh man, a few weeks. Yikes. Yeah, I know. All right. Okay, fine. Rensuya, hello, good to see you. Neo Jonathan says keep auras. Yeah, still on that grind, man. Still on that grind. 5 or 6 of them now, a few on the way, so we're getting there. We will be getting there. I'm going to try and pronounce this. Kawabachi Lewis. I'm just going to call you Louis. Hey man, good to see you. Sashimi, I hope you like the layout. The board is so nice to use. I've been typing faster on it than the 60%. I hope so for me too. This is my daily board at the minute, and I'm averaging about 65 to 70 words per minute, depending on what I'm writing and whether I'm in the zone or not. I'm hoping this one will become a really good travel board. The plan is to use it with my iPad and use it as a travel board and a kind of like companion board. Neo Jonathan says need an R2 for TMO. If there is another round, then I'll probably get another one, or I'll try at the very least. 1 mil is 1,000th of an inch. Okay, I meant millimeter, not mil necessarily, but thank you for that, Martin. Talisman says I might go for this. Can someone repost the link for where it was available? Group buy was back in September. There you go. So Jonathan's posted the link. So Talisman, this is a lovely little just travel board. It's really light, but it's aluminium. You can get aluminium bases as well. And in fact, if anyone does find an aluminium base on its own for sale, and it's either black or rose gold, I am all over it because I would love another aluminium base for this one. So Shima says, yes, my normal words per minute is around 80 or so, but I can regularly hit 90 to 95 on this thing. It's nuts. That's really good, man. It must be just the smaller layout, focusing you. And a lot of people say they can type faster on HHKB because the blockers kind of control your hands towards the middle of the board, make you move less. I'm hoping it can do that for me, very much like the Alice is teaching me how to touch type. So we'll see how we get on with it. Yeah, I hope there's an R2 as well, because I would love more people to have these boards. I am really jealous of anyone who got the Founders Edition board, because that did have a nice engraving along the back edge, so I'm really jealous of that. Okay, so there we go, we've caught up, guys. We're going to jump into the build stream. I think I've got everything I need ready. So the first thing we're going to do is look at the stabilizer.
So this board actually came from Chris Swires. He'd already completed the stabilizer build, and he desoldered it for me. So I'm going to use his stabilizers, but I'm just going to tweak the little bit of lube that he's put on here. So he's lubed the wire going into. I was going to struggle to show you this on here. He's lubed the wire as it goes into the housing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just lube both sides of the housing, this side and the other side, and then I'm going to lube the base. And in the back as well, where you can just see the wire poking through here. I'm going to do that on both sides, and then I'm going to put this back into the PCB. So just dielectric grease. This is exactly the same stuff as Chris used, so there's no worries about any difference in feel. Just using a brush to lightly paint it on one side, lightly paint it on the other. Small blob to just go in the back. That way it will run down the wire, recoat the wire over time and use it. Now, as I said, Chris has already lubed all around this area and right up the wire inside as well, so I'm not going to replicate that. I'm going to jump over onto the other side. Plenty of lube still on the brush. I'm going to do this one as well. Then we're going to take a blob. Pop it into the back where the wire is visible. And then we're going to go on the underside. You want a blob about the size of a grain of rice. And just coat the bottom of it there. And then on the other side as well. You don't have to use dielectric grease, you can use 205 grade 0 or any other thick grease is going to work for you. Super glue works well as well. Okay, and then we're going to pop that in there, and then we just need to quickly screw those two in. These are screw-in stabilizers from GMK. As I say, they've already been clipped by Chris. He's already done that hard work for me. That's one side in. And again, just always remember when you're screwing in like this, you don't want it to over tighten. All you're trying to do here is just make a nice connection. You don't want to pinch the PCB, you don't want to screw too tightly. You just want to make sure it's almost finger tight, so that you're holding down everything nice and neatly onto the PCB. So you can see there, that's nice and firm and snug in, but it's not too tight that it's going to bend or crush the PCB in any way. So just make sure it's nice and even effectively. So there we go, that's all that in. It's nicely lubed, it's not going to get stuck, and it's there as well. Oh wow, I've missed a lot. Talisman Solution gifting 5 tier 1 subs to Clockbacks community. Oh wow, thank you very much, Talisman, I really appreciate that. So Neuro Winter, Joda Wag, Bubba Buck, Jacques and Mello, congratulations guys, well done on getting those gifted subs from Talisman, and thank you very much, Talisman, genuinely appreciate that. What else are we talking about? Sweet, more than 40%, less than 60%. Yeah, it's kind of that sweet spot, kind of just about 50% board. I like a 65% usually, but this is going to be a really great alternative for a travel board. TRG says Pog, absolutely. Thanks, Talisman. Yeah, Talisman is a legend. Thank you very much for that, dude. I really, really appreciate it, man. So Shima says, not sure if you're planning on doing the Band-Aid mod, but Brian and I both found it worth the extra time to do so. I've used Band-Aid mod on a couple of boards and I really dislike it. I feel like it adds that mushiness back into what you take out, what you're getting rid of when you clip the stabs. So when you clip a stab, it's to get rid of that mushiness feeling. I find that using UK Band-Aids, if you put those back in, it feels pretty bad and pretty mushy, and it brings that back in. That being said, when I did get an M65A in a trade a while back, someone had built it in the US. They'd used some sort of Band-Aid that you get over there, and that felt fantastic. But we don't have the same materials here, or there's something different. I don't know whether it's just our Band-Aids or what we call plasters or what. But I wasn't a fan when I tried it with our stock over here. So if you've got a stock of them, Sashimi, feel free to send me over a packet of plasters, Band-Aids, and I will definitely try and do a build with those.
Okay, Bizarremi says, do you use spaces between the PCB and the screw? So it entirely depends. On a lot of 60 and 65% builds and bigger, you will find that if you've got multiple layout supports on backspace, if you've got split backspace and enter, you've got ISO and ANSI and God knows what else, so on the space bar row, you've got multiple space bars and everything else. Sometimes you'll find that where the screw goes, it will short out two connections on the PCB, so it will overlap 2 points, say here and here. On this one here, the only thing it overlaps is an in-switch LED, which is going to be by default turned off, and I'm not going to use them. There's going to be no in-switch LEDs on this board, so not on this board. That being said, I do have a packet of nylon washers, and if one stabilizer is affected by that on any other board, then I will put a little washer underneath the screw. They're very, very thin. You can get paper variants or you can get small rubber variants. I've got both, so it entirely depends on what board I'm building and whether it's going to short out once it's built. I hope that helps. Okay, so that's the stabilizer in for the spacebar. That's all looking nice and neat and tidy. What we're going to do now is just take the plate and we're going to align that over the top. Just make sure everything's got nice clearance. Nothing's going to infringe on the stabilizers. Everything is moving as it should do. There's no grinding, no catching or anything like that as well. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a few switches. These are Gateron Ink Series switches, as I talked about before. So these are going to be on sale for novel keys in a few days, hopefully. These are the release version. We've just got hold of them a little bit earlier than normal. So yeah, they're just a Gateron housing, but it's smoky with a black stem, and I really like the feel of them. Lovely and smooth. So I'm going to pop these into the plate first. I'm going to click that down, and then we're going to align that up to the PCB, and we're going to push that into place. And then we're going to do that with a few more. Preferably where we've got a single layout option, so we know we can get everything aligned. He says, there we go. Pushing that in nice and firm. And what we're looking for here is making sure that the switch is nice and firmly up against the PCB and that the plate is still clicked into the switch. So as you can see here, that's nice and flush against the PCB, and it's also right where the plate should sit. And then you can see that we've got this switch here, which again, if we can just see down that gap, is in the same sort of position. I'm going to put in a few more, try and make sure that it stands up on its own, and then we'll go through and fill in the rest of the switches. One in there, put another one down here, try and support it all nice and neatly. There we go. Let's get this bottom corner done. Okay. So there we go. Now we've got the PCB and the plate kind of aligned. You can see how it's going to sit. There's going to be a nice gap all the way through. The plate's doing a really good job of holding in place. I'm going to do this row last because I'm worried about the switches becoming slightly crooked. So I'm going to get all the other switches in, and then we're going to come back to that middle row, and then we're going to try and make sure that all aligns correctly. Still mad at you for doing full space. I'm not a fan of split space. I personally don't like it, but that's the beauty of the hobby, right? We can all pick and choose the layouts that we want to do. We don't have to, we're not bound by convention, we're exactly bound by the opposite. We can do exactly what we want and make the boards to our specifications entirely, and that's the beauty of the hobby for me. Love the smoky housings. Yeah, I love the smoky housings too. I think they look fantastic. I'm really, really happy with these. I think, whilst I like the smoky housing on the T1 switches, I think I prefer the smoky housing on these because it's just a little bit more subtle. There we go. Just going to go all the way down this row now, making sure that all the switches are aligned both into the plate and into the PCB. Talisman says, Sashimi says, progress not perfection. Yeah. Something like that.
Sir Dead says, how much can it cost for a custom keyboard? You can get stuff fairly cheaply. You can get custom keyboards from KBD fans, for example, and you'll be talking a couple of $100s. You can get cheaper kits from Taobao, which will cost you maybe $100. It all depends on what your budget is, but there's an option out there for everyone. The prices can go quite crazy. You can kind of just see the LS just here in the background here. That kind of goes for silly money at the minute on the aftermarket, somewhere in the region of about $700, $800, $900 I've seen them for. So it all depends on, you know, what boards you want, what your taste is, what sort of styles you want. Keycap sets, again, depending on what you buy, can be anywhere from $30 to, you know, $300, $400. There's no really upper limit on keyboards. Yeah. Ink Series is a Novel Keys thing, right? Yes, these will be on Novel Keys in the next week or so, hopefully. Mike's back from business trip tomorrow, so once he's back, then I'm hoping he'll be able to update the store. As soon as these go live, I'm going to buy some more because I really like them. And don't forget, you can use new Clack, that's NEW space CLAC, which is our code for a small discount on the Novel Keys store as well, if you do want these switches. I'm sure if Sashimi's around, he'll paste the link and the code into chat for me. Oh, they're not quite expensive. They're not quite expensive. Then they can go up and down. The prices are very different. So, for example, this is called a JER Mini. I think this was $400 plus switches plus keycaps and other accoutrements. So I think in total the board cost me around $700, something like that. It all depends on what you're building and what your sort of budget is. Okay. Making some good progress now. That's a starting number. Yeah, I mean, you can go silly money. You can go really, really high. I mean, there's some really rare stuff out there that collectors like, which will go for thousands and thousands. You can look at some old vintage board, the old Lisp boards and things like that. I wanted to buy a Lisp board. That was one of the things that got me into the hobby. I couldn't afford one, which is why I made the Hyper 7, which is just here. Yeah, they went for $3,000–4,000 on eBay for a vintage board. So the prices can be quite extortionate. Sashimi says then you can get Monolivia and spend like $1,500 after getting a donor board and caps. Yeah, that is another option. That's Norbauer's new board. Interesting enough, it's named the Mon Olivia. This board is also coloured in Olivia, which is a member of the community, for those of you who don't know her. And if you're watching Olivia, love you. Okay, so we're getting there now. Switches are almost in. And then we're going to come back to this middle row in a second. Okay, we'll come back to space in a second. I'm going to grab a switch and work out which particular hole I need in the middle, or which particular socket I need in the middle. Here we go. This is where it starts to get interesting. Try and work out the switch spacing here. There we go. Knowing me, I'll solder all this in and then we'll get it wrong. What we might do is I might cheat a little bit and cap this before I solder it, and then just make sure the caps are hidden underneath so they're not going to get damaged. Bissaromi says he just spent $5 grand on an OTD. Yeah, it happens, man. Yeah, I've only tried an OTD 356 Mini, but yeah, it's not a board for me. A little bit too rich for my blood. I'd rather have more options than a single board of that value. But yeah, it's a lovely bit of kit, so congratulations on that, man. Good purchase. Where can I find more information? Shop pieces. If you want to have a real look at the starter stuff, if you just jump onto KBD Fans, so kbdfans.com, and just have a look there, you'll be able to see a lot of kits. You'll be able to see pre-built boards. If you go onto Reddit and search for the Reddit's r/mechanical keyboards, all one word, you'll be able to see a lot of stuff on there as well. And if you want to buy something, you can check out Secondhand Aftermarket, which is r/mechmarket, MECHMARKET. A lot of the community does base itself around Reddit, Instagram and Discord, so if you have access to those forums and areas, then you should be good. Right, hold on. What we're going to do is actually, I'm going to screw this together now, and then once I've done that, I'm going to turn this over. Then I'm going to cap it and work out where this needs to go. Make sure we get all of these in the right place. Okay, so there are 5 mount points on either side of this board, which, as I said before, is a little bit excessive. It's probably not needed. It is going to make it really firm, but I kind of like that. As always, we're going diametrically opposed, just to make sure we even out any load on these screw points. That way we are not going to stress the board or the PCB in any way, shape or form. Okay, we've got Rope in chat as well. Hey Rope, good to see you, man. Thanks Rich for formatting that badly. Yeah, there you go. You've got it right. You've got it now. You've got it. Talisman Solutions with the big heart. Thank you, man. How do I store my switches? I use airtight containers like this. These are T1 switches, and then I label the fronts as well with how many I've got and what's in there. And I've got maybe 3 dozen boxes just at the side of me with switches in. And then I've got one big drawer which has got a massive, all sorts of different switches in it. Some people use bags. I think that's completely fine as well. I just like to use the tubs because they stack nice and easily. What else are we talking about? Oh, you didn't actually get one, you were memeing. Oh, right, okay. Sorry, Bisarami. Well, I thought you had got one. If you had have done, I would have been half jealous and half glad that my wallet wasn't suffering for that one. But if you do ever get one, fair play to you. Tootsie Roll, is it? It is .cn for the keyboard fan. Oh, it is. Yes. Sorry, I don't know why I said .com. You're right. It's .cn. Yeah. Okay. And Talisman Solutions put the link in the thread. Thank you very much, dude. Thank you. Rope says, man, I really want to get my hands on the TMO50. It's so incredibly pretty. Yeah, absolutely it is. It's a really good looking board. Okay, we're getting there now with these screws. So many screws for just a little tiny board. And once we've done this, I know I usually leave the caps to the end, but you'll see what caps I'm going to use. Any guesses what caps I'm going to put on this? It's not GMK Olivia, although I do have that. But if anyone's got any guesses. They take up a lot of space. I ordered some switches from Master Shop and they come in a black switch holder. Oh yes, I think you mean these. Hold on, if I knock them over, I think you mean like this. Yeah, I've got some halos in there. Yeah, I don't tend to light them afterwards, so it's easy with the switches loose. What switches am I using? I'm using Gateron Ink Series. These are a new switch that aren't on the market yet. They should be on the market in a couple of days, hopefully, when Mike gets back from a business trip. So yeah, they'll be on Novel Keys, which is just here, Novel Keys. A Rainbow Blank set? Nope. Phantom? No, not Phantom. I don't have Phantom actually. Something I need to get. Yeah, Titan. A lot of people do want the R2, the TMO. Yeah. I'll put something like muted on that colour maybe. Muted's actually on the Alice right now. I don't know if you guys can see that in the background, but I've got muted on the Alice just up there. Talisman Solutions giving some good advice to Sir Dead as well. Seems wrong to not put Olivia on a rose gold TMO50. Now there is a reason for that, and I'm going to show you at the end of the stream why, but it's not Olivia, and Olivia is on the board, but I'll show you why at the end I'm not going with Olivia. Novelias with Olivia. I do have some Novelias actually here. I used them on an old build. I wasn't a massive fan of them, but they're nice and tactile. Nice and tactile. Geek Maker Creamies coming soon as well. Yeah, Geek Maker Creamies are okay. Not my favourite switch, if I'm honest, but they're not a terrible switch. They've just got a really weird noise. Kelly, Holy Panda's not great. It's in Wet Jet. Is it Tie House Sunshine? It's not Tie House Sunshine. I'll give you a clue. It is GMK. Lex says, is it pudding caps on this? No, the pudding cap meme is dead. The pudding caps have gone somewhere. I think they're in a drawer somewhere now. Rope has got it right though. Rope has got it right. It is going to be GMK Stormtrooper that I'm going to put on here. So you can go. There we can go. GMK Stormtrooper. So that's what's going to be on this board shortly. So let's finish screwing that in. Yeah, we have done. Okay. Let us now get the caps out. Either DSA, either Milkshake or Alchemy, says Samsung. So I've actually only got the 10 keyless mods and the UK ISO kit for DSA Milkshake. I'm trying to find either the normal alphas or any other alphas for Milkshake. Not for this board, but for another project I've got coming. So yeah, GMK Bolivia, that's a bit off, man. But yeah, it's going to be Stormtrooper on this one. Gemcat says, what is your favourite switch? I think my favourite switch is a Holy Panda, if I'm completely honest, just because of tactile. Second favourite switch and most commonly used one is probably a Zeal V2, and that's because they're a little bit quieter for the office, which is where I do a lot of my typing. And this bloody stream, every time I start streaming, this TV does not want to pick that up. There we go. So this is where I'm going to hope that we've got all of the stuff that I need key-wise to make this happen in this set. I'm sure it'll cover it somehow. Okay, so that shows us we need the spacebar switch just here. And then what we're going to do is we'll just cap the board now so you guys can see what it's going to look like when it's finished. There we go. Okay, some keys we won't be needing today. You guys know me. Okay, let's try and put everything we're going to need up there. No number row. Punctuation we need though, and letters. Won't need that. Not sure on mods yet. Let's keep these to one side. Don't need that, don't need that, don't need that. Lots of keys we aren't going to use from this set here. We might use that on this column. I don't think we'll use the enter. We'll be using the backspace. More letters. Let's start capping these. We might use escape. Probably will use the shift. Okay. Okay. This will be the first time I've ever capped a board this small, so I do apologise, guys. It's going to take me a second to work out what exactly I do need for this. I should have thought about this prior to the stream, but it gives you guys a chance to laugh at me for a minute or two. There we go. Okay. And then once we've capped it, what we'll do then is we'll quickly bring everything over here actually. We'll quickly solder it. It won't take long to solder on this board. It'll be a very quick solder job. We'll need an FN, no numbers. Page up, yeah, we've got that over here. Shift maybe. Punctuation, we have got some punctuation on this board. I don't know if we'll need that or not. Yeah, we will need that, maybe. Nope. This is really weird, guys. I'm putting half the caps I would sometimes use on a board away. It just feels really bizarre. I'm hoping I've got an R1 delete actually, and then R1 backspace. I don't know if this board supports split back. Sorry, if this key set supports split backspace, but I hope it does. There we go. Okay. Let's see what you guys are talking about in chat. Stormtrooper, yeah, it's Blue Olivia J. Oh, Mitsu, yeah, Blue Olivia. No, it's very different to Olivia, and I really like Mitsu. I'm definitely going to be all over that when it comes out. Okay, lots of stuff I'm just not going to need, and some stuff that I am. Okay, what else are we talking about? Jazzy music. Yeah, it's just I don't know what it is, to be honest. Just some lo-fi thing. Whatever comes on YouTube when I search for lo-fi. Okay. Have we got all of the letters yet? Nope. Still missing some letters. Got this a little bit wrong. Fact. Everyone better get Mitsu. I want really bad. It has to hit MOQ. Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. It seems like a Lego stream. Yeah, it does. Yeah. It does seem a bit like a Lego stream. I just don't know what I'm doing with a lot of these keys. I've actually look. We've got these one over. Because I'm so used to doing split backspace. We'll get there. We are getting there, guys, I promise. Lots of unused keys though. Oops. Okay. Okay, that should be all of the keys out now. I just need to find them. F, G, H, K. There we go. If I use different J, I prefer the scooped homing keys rather than the barred ones. And S, there we go. P, L, here we go. Okay, just need an N key. There's got to be one somewhere around. So where I found it, I've put it in the tub. I've put it in the tub. Oh, it's there. There we go. Okay. Punctuation. There we go, guys. Okay, so we're getting there now. Okay. So now I need to. I think we'll put escape there. I think I didn't see a 1U. Let's go page up, page down, print screen at the bottom. We'll find a page down key for it. Okay, the ones in here I'm not too fussed about. I can find out keys for those later on when we get to the end of the stream. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to put a 1U cap in the corner here. So that's going to be for our FN key, which I just had a second ago. There we go. And that means that the shift is going to fill this gap, but I think it's a 1.25U shift. Yeah, 1.25U shift in this gap. And there we go. That's nicely in place. And then we are going to use an enter key over here, but I'm probably going to use the caps lock key for it, even though it's not going to actually be caps lock. And that's just because this set doesn't support a short enter key. There we go. And then we just need to look at the bottom row. So we're going to go for a 1U control if we have one. We do. There we go. Shift key here. There we go. And then we need a 1.5U alt. There it is. And then at the far side, we are going to go a Windows key. Make sure that all fits together nicely. There we go. And then we're going to run, I think I need a 1.25 key for there. We'll just go with control for now. It will do the job. And then we can find a better cap at the end of the stream. Okay. There we go. We'll find a better cap for that at the end of the stream. I think we have got a delete key as well. We'll come back to that later on. We'll find that out. And we'll just put some caps in here for now. Get the right one, the other one. And let's just pop a cap up there for now as well, just so it looks like it's full. There we go. Okay. Let's see what we were talking about. Everybody better get Mitsu over the sets hit so badly. Yeah, absolutely, dude. Completely agree. GMK Striker as well. Yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely down for that. That's the Blue Samurai change. Have you decided what caps you're going to put on the macro switches you're going to win artisans? These will be artisans later on. I'm still waiting for a couple to come through that will match, so I'm not going to put them on there just yet, but they will be artisans on there as well. What else are we talking about? Captured lighting, wrist rescue, guys only a couple of weeks ago, so pumped. Yes, factory battles. I'm all over that. Brian is as well. We both really want one of those, so we're going to definitely get one. About early, would you say it's better to remove my halos from the mash drop holder things? No, it's fine. If you like them in there, it's fine. I just find it easier to pick switches up when I'm lubing them when they're loose, that's all. That feeling when Jay uses a plastic cap puller, yeah, it does have little rubber bumps on there. I don't know if you can see, these are little rubber ends on here. I usually use my metal one, it's here, so I do have both, but this one's got rubber ends on, so it's fine. Does it has a HHKB control? I don't know. It probably will do. I'll sort the caps out later. It's fine as long as the row fits. That's all I can expect. I will change these caps here and here, and we'll put some artisans on here as well. Probably leave escape up there though. Jay needs a portable ISO numpad, converting every marginally acceptable keyboard to sufficient. There might be something in the works there. Might be something in the works already. Why the tilde? What tilde? Oh, it's just to fill the gap. It's going to be artisans on here later on. Don't worry, Soren. Don't worry. It'll go. Jez needs to get those ISO artisan caps. So the TMO does have ISO finally. Well, you can actually build it with this the other way around. So you can have the 1.25 here. And if you did do that, and you didn't mind drilling the PCB and the plate and a few other bits and pieces, theoretically, let's find the cap. You could. So if I put that here and switch these around, you see it would actually fit just there. It would mean cutting the plate and it would mean drilling into the PCB to support it. But theoretically, you could make the PCB support ISO without any changes to the stagger, which is interesting. So I'm going to need a sugary drink. I'm starting to feel it a little bit. There we go. Excuse me. Okay, and we've got Pixel Hero as well. Hey man, good to see you. So this board all put together. I'm not going to do a typing test just yet because we need to do the soldering. So let's crack on with that now. So all of the switches are now in place. Sorry, my soldering iron's just got caught up from a cable here. There we go. Okay. Big drink, glug glug. Yeah, it's all this talking, man. It gives me, makes my throat go sore, so I need a drink. Okay, one other thing that we need is here. There we go. Important to keep your tip clean, boys and girls. Always keep your tip nice and clean. Check chat, boy. I need help from Max. No time for gamer. I don't know why you need help from Max. Just the tip though, yeah, absolutely just the tip. So we're just going to touch the pad and the pin together. We're going to add a tiny bit of solder, and we're going to leave it a couple of seconds, and that's going to solder it down nice and neatly. And we're just going to repeat that all the way across the board. This has been desoldered once already as this PCB. As I mentioned, this is a second-hand board. I got it from the ineffable Chris Swires, who was watching earlier on, but I think he's going to catch up on VOD tomorrow. So thank you very much, Chris, again. I really appreciate you selling this board to me. Okay, I'm just going to go quickly along this row. The soldering is not going to take long on this board, and then I'm going to share with you my screen so that I can show you how we're going to program it, and then how we're going to flash it before we put it together, and then do a final sound test at the end of the stream. And then after that, it will be time for Kelly's stream, who's going to actually stream him building a board for me. He's kindly taken charge of my Daisy 40%, and he's going to build that on stream shortly for me. And then once he's built that, it'll be time for Nathan Kim's stream. So lots of keyboard content for you guys today. Okay, making good progress here, guys. Almost the whole row done, and once this row's done, we'll move on to the next one, and then we'll just keep going and try and get this done nice and quickly. And in terms of other builds next week, guys, I'm building a board for Tronics, who was in chat earlier on. He kindly asked me if I would build his his key cult number 160, so I've got that at the side of me at the moment. That's going to be ready for build on stream next week. It's taken me a little bit of time to get his switches in a reasonable position. That pin is bent, so we're going to come back to that switch in a second. Okay, so as I say, where we've got a bent pin, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull the switch out, level off that pin, re-put it back in, and then we'll solder it afterwards. Always worthwhile double checking both pins before you solder. So before I'm jumping over to a switch, what I'm doing is I'm visually checking that I can see the pin for both. So it's always worthwhile making sure you've got that in place. Okay, almost the second row done now, and then we can plug the board in and try it out. Here we go, guys, almost the second row done now. And then just 2 more rows to go. Okay, there we go. Let's see what happened. So the TMO does have ISO finally. It doesn't yet, but you could do it. Big drink glug glug, yeah. Oh, Stuff Dude 99 has just subbed with Twitch Prime. Thank you very much, dude. I really appreciate that, man. Thank you. Want to do a 6.25 view spacebar, but the spot for the switch won't register. If push comes to shove, I'll just do split space. I know we talked about doing full space there. Kelly, you build my Daisy however you want. You pick whatever you want. I suspect that if the full space doesn't work, it's just a layout thing, but it's entirely up to you. I got Odin in the house as well. Hey Odin, good to see you. Damn J doxing HPAG's real name. Everyone knows it's called Kelly. Everyone knows. He does it himself. He calls himself Kelly on his own streams. I would love to dox you, baby. Yeah. Oh, has Kelly been getting his haircut? Okay, I see. And Pixel Hero with the tier 1 sub as well, and Talisman Solution with his statutory 1,111 bits. Thank you very much for that, dude, as well. We really appreciate your support here. Okay, just going to jump on to the next row, and we're going to quickly solder this all in. Then once we've done this row, another bent pin. No, the pin's there. I thought it was bent pin. It's not. We're all good. Okay, I'm just going to check that one. Yeah, it's definitely a bent pin. Okay, we'll come back to that bent pin in a second and fix it. I'm just going to quickly finish off the board. Almost there though, guys. Almost there now. But do check out next week's stream as well if you want to. The key cult number 160 is something I've been looking forward to building for Tronics for a little while now, since he first mentioned it to me and asked me if I'd be able to accommodate his build. So I'm really looking forward to having a look at that board, looking at its mounting system, seeing how it's different to a lot of other boards out there, and then completing the build and doing a bit of a sound test at the end. Okay. Okay, streaming for an hour now, guys, and we're already almost finished soldering the board. That's probably a record for any of my build streams, and it's certainly faster than any of Querdenko O'Brien's build streams, so there we go. I feel like I'm cheating you guys out of content today a little bit. Okay. Okay, we're just going to quickly run through the bottom row now, and then we'll quickly check that one switch with the bent pin, and then once that's fixed we'll quickly solder that, and then we'll be done with the soldering. Okay, so that's the board soldered. Let's quickly check this switch here. So this is the enter key. I do have a switch puller somewhere. There it is. Okay, guys. So looking at this switch from the underside, you can just see that one of the pins has bent in half. So I'm just going to straighten that out. Pop the switch back on the cap, and then pop it back into the board. Just make sure we get it nice and straight. And in the right spot there. Okay, and there we go, both pins are showing correctly. I'll quickly solder this in place. And there we go. That is the board all put together. Put the solder away now. Okay guys, so there we go, that's all put together and all working. What we're going to do now is I'm actually going to do something I don't really do on stream much, but a lot of other people do. I'm going to just show you guys how easy it is to use the new QMK configurator. So let me just bring this up. If I do that, you should be able to see that on stream now. So this is the QMK configurator. Now you'll see that I have made a mistake on here. Bright eyes and 10 points to anyone who spots it. But this is where you can basically build your layout. So it's really, really easy to do.
And I'll show you how by fixing what I've broken. So what we've got here is this row is actually wrong. It's staggered wrong. The Q should be here, so I'm just going to fix that really quickly now. And you literally just tap on the key that you want to change, and then just tap the letter in the bottom column that you want it to go to, and it's as simple as that. So you can see here now that this is live changing within the QMK software what I want to do with each key. This isn't programming the board, by the way. This is just there we go, and then we'll have that as backspace. There we go. So that's just literally setting what I want the keys to do. We also need to do the bottom row as well, so just pop these in. Okay, and if Merlin's watching, using your GMK Merlin colours as well here as well. So there we go, that's all laid out. Just some interesting things to call out as well. Let me just move this slightly to the side so you can see it a little bit better, because what I want to show you is just hidden behind the text. So just here we've got the MO1 logo. I don't know if you guys can see my mouse, I don't think you can, but just underneath the enter to the right you've got the MO1 key. That's the one to select my layer, and it's as simple as just typing what layer you want to go into that. So you can delete that, you can put 2, you can delete that and put 3, and then 4, and as you can see on the left hand side underneath the layer indicator is actually showing what layer that's changing to. So if I put 16 in there, you'll or 15, sorry, you'll see that it lights up layer 15. I only want it to go to layer 1, so we're just going to put layer 1 in there. Oh, you guys can see my mouse, I think. No, you can't. Okay, you can't see my mouse, but anyway, it is there. The other thing you can do as well is if you tap on the layer number, it will take you through to that layer. So you can see here that I've also got the commands across the top row of the board. So this all across here will be my RGB controls for the underglow, and then this row here will be my controls for the backlighting if I ever decide to use it. And then also around here I've also got my arrow keys as well. 2 up keys, just because I tend to miss when I'm using staggered up, so I tend to hit in the middle. If both are there, then if I miss one, hit the other, that's fine. Looks like the bottom spacebar reads changing also as no right control. Let me have a look, as I was really quickly trying to do this just before the stream, so yes, you are right. So that is going to be our Windows key, so I'm just going to change that to right OS, and then I'll just change that to space because I'm not sure which of the space keys I'm actually using, so they're all space anyway, so there we go. The other good thing, you can also have a look and see how different key sets are going to show on here, so you can just select different ones. So carbon, you can see how carbon would look, vial bloom, some really good Olivetti. I think you can do Olivia as well, so you can just see how your key sets kind of broadly going to look. It's kind of a nice little feature. So that's how you pick out what you're going to do. Once you've done that, all you need to do is compile a hex. So you can click up in the top right corner and select compile. Wait for the oven to give you a hex file, which is nice and easy to do. So thank you, Aniki, for spotting that. You were right, you were spot on. And then once this is done, which takes about a minute or 2, so in the background you can see that there's some code over here. So it's queuing and it's running different bits and pieces. Basically it's building, that's what right alt is. Right alt is alt GR in the key codes as far as I understand it. We can check in a second actually, Soren, if that is the case. So basically what it's doing is it's building there. Okay, so there was one error in there, not quite sure why. Oh, okay, so I think this is because I changed different layers and tapped on different layers. Okay, interesting. Anyway, there you go. If you do it without, I must have put something in here that's wrong. I'm not quite sure why that's doing it. I'll chat to Mech Merlin anyway later on. Anyway, earlier on I did compile a hex key that should give me everything that I need. So what I want to do then is show you how to flash them. So what we do is we take QMK Toolbox, which I'm just going to pop on screen and get rid of that. So this is QMK Toolbox. This is a nice little app. If I just move it to center so you can see a little bit better. Designed for specifically adding QMK key maps to keyboards. So the first thing you need to do is make sure your keyboard is plugged in. So we're going to do exactly that. Plug the keyboard in. There we go.
We're then going to browse to the hex key. I'm trying to click on it on there and I shouldn't be. Okay, so we're going to browse to the hex. So I'm pretty sure I saved this on my desktop. Yeah, there we go. Open it up. Make sure everything is set. So you want to make sure that your Atmega 32U4 controller is in the top corner for this particular board. And then it's just a case of hitting the flash key after you've hit the reset key on the bottom. So you turn the keyboard over, hit the reset key. You will see that it'll pop up there that there's a DFU of device available. Tap on flash. And there we go. That's the board flashed nice and simply. So that's the layout that we just had a look at that's flashed onto the board. And you can hear it going in the background. That's connected back to my PC. And that's the board ready to use. So it's as simple as that. You can just quickly compile your layout. You can then use the QMK configurator. So just jump back to that so you guys can see again. What's where I've moved it to? Here it is. So just literally select the keys that you want. So tap on the letter that you want to change, tap on whatever you want it to become, compile it, compile the firmware, and then use the toolbox file to flash it. Simple as that. Okay, let's take these screens off. So if anyone has any questions on that, I'm happy to show you again or talk it through on another stream or whatever you guys need to support you. So yeah, that's it. Let's unplug this, and then what we're going to do now is we're going to just pop the case back together, and then once we pop the case back together, no numbers in the FN layer. So what this is going to be used for, the ice is nice, is basically it's going to be a literally written text entry. So I have an iPad that I travel with, and I just write a ton of notes on there all the time. A lot of it is really high level stuff. Anything I need a number for, I can type out 3 as a word. It's not. I'm never going to need to do any mathematics or any numbers or really anything like that. A lot of it's just prose that I need to type out, thoughts and things I need to do and things like that. So this is just going to be a travel board, so there's no need for any numbers on this particular layer or on this particular board. And if there is, you've seen how easy it is to change it, guys. I can come back to it and change it anytime I need to as well, which is the beauty of the board. Factory vitals, yes, you did. I fixed the bent pin. All I did was take it out. In fact, I can show you exactly what I did. Let's put this one screw in there. So here's a switch that's got 2 straight pins. One of them was bent, like so. I don't know if you guys can see it. There you go, bent pin. All I did was just straighten it out until it was nice and straight and even, and popped it back in the board. And then we soldered it in, and all was good with the world. Okay. Just going to screw this back together. And remember, we always want to go diametrically opposed. Just share out any stress on the board as you're putting it together. Take it nice and simply. And with this board, there are quite a few mounting pins on both the inside and on the outside of the board as well. So on the inside you've got 10 screws holding the plate together, and on the outside you've got 8 screws holding the base together, which is an interesting design choice. Okay, and there we go. That's the board all put together. As you can see, there's the GMK Stormtrooper key set on the Olivia colour. I think it looks really nice. It's one of my favourite colourways, is white and rose gold together. You can see it's got the nice acrylic base there. Plenty of underglow LEDs. And then you can see the keycaps are all nice and neatly covered. It's quite high profile. There you go, you can see that a bit better there. Let's have a look at it from this side. There you go. There we go. It's a lovely, cute looking little board. As I say, a couple of things I want to do to this later on. Just change the caps around a little bit, make sure I've got the right caps in the right places. I will put some LED indicator lights in here once I've decided what I'm going to use them for and what colours I want them. I'm probably going to go with a soft white, and same with the underglow, we'll go with a soft white underglow. In fact, what we should be able to do now is we should be able to test what the underglow looks like, because I should be able to turn it on by using, there you go. See, that's now gone bright red. Let's just cycle through the modes, get something interesting going. See if we can find something a little bit more fun. Here we go. There we go, guys. You can see now that the board's got plenty of underglow going for it. You can see that's going to look nice and neat behind the board there. See if we can find something that moves a little bit quicker. Okay. Oh, there you go. Here you go. Lots of options for the underglow anyway. There you go, guys. That's it. So that's about built. Gatwi says RGB, very nice. Yeah, it looks really good, guys. Thank you very much for that. I think it looks great. It's a travel KB for when Jay comes to Seattle, California, Texas, New York, doing his North American tour. I really hope I do get out to the Seattle meetup. That is my big aim for this year. The big challenge I'm going to have with that is funding it. Brian and I are looking at options, see what we can sort out. Hopefully I will get there. We may have to start something like a quick GoFundMe or something like that to get out there. But I absolutely want to try and get there and be at the Seattle meetup, if none of the other ones. And Colorado, yeah, maybe we'll try at least one of them. Nero says, I've never really been a fan of underglow. No, I'm not either. Let's just go back through these, back to the early ones. Let's see if we can go right back to the very beginning one. And let's see if I can... I think the beginning one's solid red. That goes all the way through them, it doesn't stop. Let's see if we can find a solid one. That solid colour? Yeah, that's okay. Then let's just see if we can change the hue. No. One of them, I can't remember which it is now. We'll change the saturation, increase and decrease. Maybe it's this. Oh, I don't know. I'll get it to a soft white later on anyway, but the idea is that it'll be a soft white light, and then we'll just have a nice little underglow soft white that shows around the side, so you see it will be just nicely around the side as well. So there we go. Screw head broke off in my tray mount case. What do? So there's a couple of things you can do, Martin. You can try drilling it out, or you can use, I've got some little, basically the little drill bits, and as you drill them in, what they do is they actually, if you put the drill in reverse, it screws them into the screw and pulls it out. So you can get those as well, but it depends on how small it is. They only work up to N2, anything smaller, and it's a case of getting a really fine needle nose drill right down the centre of it to drill it out. Unless you can get pliers on it and you can twist it with a pair of pliers, that's another option. Have a J-a-thon during the 24-hour stream. Funnily enough, my actual full name is Jonathan, but very few people call me that. So J-a-thon just reminds me of that. My initials are J-A-E, which is why everyone calls me J. My wife calls me J. Her parents call me J. Everyone calls me J in real life. So that's where it comes from. You're going to explain why? No, Olivia. Yes, I will. I haven't got to that bit yet. We'll get there. We will get there. We will get there. What I want to do first is just do a bit of a sound test for you guys. So I'm going to unplug this because I'm just conscious I don't want to end the stream, because someone that the other day, a stream that I was watching, they were doing a typing test and they hit enter and that enter key actually stopped their stream. So I just want to be careful of that. But I'm going to do a bit of a sound test for you guys so you can see what this sounds like. So this is Gateron inky black switches in a TMO50 with an acrylic base and an aluminium top.
There we go, guys. There you go. Don't know what you think. I think it sounds really, yeah, bassy and solid. Gary is right. Even the spacebar sounds really good. It's a real nice thunk. There we go. Just to compare that to this board, which is Tangerines in a full alu case. There you go. Two different types of lube. That is lube with just oils. It's quite a high pitch clack, but this is a really muted, nice, just end-to-end sound. So yeah, I'm really happy with these switches. Ink has a better sound. Yeah, I'm tempted to buy all Ink switches and put them in this. I think they're my new go-to linear. Honestly, after trying these for the past couple of days, I'm really excited about them. And I'm sorry that I've only got 20 left because I want another couple of hundred now. But I really like them. Really like them. Yeah, there is a few differences. It's not the right way to compare because this is an aluminium plate and it's Tangerine switches and it's you know, a full aluminium case and it's a very different design, but you know, you can kind of get just key on key. And I thought that sounded good last week and now I don't like it. So I'm going to have to really build that. Yeah, I'll come on to the Why No Olivia in a second. Don't let me forget. If Jay is going to Seattle, then will Brian be coming to London at some point? Yes, we do plan on getting Brian to London at some point, yes. The index finger spacebar though. Yeah, it's my weird typing. So I tell this story a lot, and the reason why is because I learned to type because of my age, primarily on a laptop with work. I could type before, but I didn't really use it much. Never had a PC growing up at home. I think that I didn't have a computer in my life until I was 18. So all my typing was done before that in lessons at school when we had an IT class, or when I actually started work. The first job I had was managing a pub. They gave me a laptop and it was an old ThinkPad, and the way I taught myself to type was I would have my thumb on the ThinkPad here. I would have this thumb for doing the mouse clicks left and right, and then I would type with my thumb hovering over the trackpad, and that just meant that that was a shorter movement to get my finger onto spacebar than to lift my whole hand up to hit the spacebar with my thumb. And it's something I'm trying to train myself out of. I have got the Alice and the VEA next to each other here. They are on my desk quite often. Once a week I sit down for 4 or 5 hours straight and I just try and learn how to touch type with those, and that's kind of what I'm working on at the moment. So there we go. Sounds like rain, then you get the big drops with the space. Yeah, it does. It sounds really good. I'm thoroughly happy with the sound of this. I think it sounds fantastic. I'm really looking forward to using this as a travel board, and I'm going to have it at home for the rest of the night and probably tomorrow as well. So yeah. Breastplate sounds decent though. Yeah, does have a nice sound to it. Definitely better than the polycarb by a noticeable margin. You mean the polycarb plate? Okay. I've not got a polycarb plate for this one though, so yeah, I'll have to try it. Do you know when the inks are going to release? This week is my understanding. The TMO is a lot better than this sound. Yeah, I liked that sound last week on stream. It sounded fantastic when I built it a couple of weeks ago. Needs rebuilding now. Not good enough anymore. Yeah, they're going to be on Novel Keys, who will be just that. Yep, right as I sped it, they came up. So it's going to be there. Host Kelly after the stream. I'm going to try and host Kelly. I don't know how to do it, so I'm going to try and do it after I've ended the stream. I don't know how to do a raid or something like that, but I do hope that that works for Kelly. Yeah, there are only 30 of these in the world. Do I bring my keys back and forth to work every day? Yeah, so yes and no. So I have an office in the local town close to me, and that's where I work a couple of days a week. I work from home 1 day a week, so I'll use whatever's on my desk at home for that day. And then a couple of days a week I also travel around the country. So I'm in London, I'm in Manchester, I'm in Edinburgh, I'm all over the place with work as well. And that's when I need a board like this to just shove it in my bag, get out my iPad, type some responses to a couple of emails, type some notes down, type things to do, lists and all that kind of stuff, just to get thoughts out of my head. Basically that's just what we do.
In terms of other boards at work, I use a TX1800 because if I'm doing anything serious at work, it's when I'm in the office, and that's when I'm really concentrating. So that's all spreadsheety and PowerPointy and stuff like that. So full size 1800 board does me perfectly for that. There were far more than 30 people that filled out the form to get one. Yes, there was about 300, I think. I think Thunderberger said there was about 300. I'm tempted to get the IKEA switches, but see, these sound really nice. I'm getting to my IKEA switches as well. These do sound really good, but do remember that the plate, the PCB material, how thick it is, and how flexible it is, the case material, the base material, how much room you've got in there, what sort of desk you're on. All of those will affect sound more than just the switches. So there are a lot of considerations. It's not just the switch you use that directly affects the sound. Well, stuff happened with that group buy. I don't know what you mean by that. Sorry, Titan. Mad Guy, any EU resellers? No idea as yet. Mike hasn't even decided to sell them yet, so I don't know what his plans are. Host person, I think. Okay, I'll try it anyway afterwards. I think I can hit something on the website and do a raid or something. So we'll try doing that right at the end of the stream. I didn't know it was 300 people. That means you got really lucky. Yeah, 1 in 10. Yeah, I think it was about 300 people. Yeah, it was just one of those things. If the designer sticks around for R2, that number could probably go up. Yeah, I think it will. I'm really happy I got this. This is going to stay with me for a long, long time. Yeah, okay. So that's the board. Now let me just quickly nip over to the back of the room and show you the reason why I didn't go with GMK Olivia on this board. So one of the other boards I have the pleasure of having in my possession at the moment is this lovely bit of kit here. So this is a white TX65, which I put Olivia on. And my idea here is that I've got two boards. I've got Olivia on white and white on Olivia, and that's kind of the theme of these two builds. So they're very different boards, very different purposes. They both look really good, but that was kind of the idea, that I'd have Olivia on a white board and then a white set on an Olivia coloured board. So I hope that makes sense as to why I didn't put GMK Olivia on this board now. But as you can see, interesting as well, I don't know if this is showing up on camera, it doesn't look like it is on my screen, but this is the JER Mini White, pale white appearance, and this is the TX White as well. So I was going to mention this on stream the other day. Now, looking at my camera, I don't think it's picking up, but there is a very different colour difference between the two. This is much more yellowy than this white is. If you look at this, this is very similar to the white on my desk. In real life, this board is a lot more yellow in terms of its shade of, it's a lot more of a warmer white in terms of its shade. So I don't know if anyone else has noticed that or tried it or put the two boards together, but just to show that off as well, guys, and show that there is a difference between the colours of white that you can get in terms of boards. So there we go, guys. TMO50 Olivia colourway with GMK Stormtrooper. Let me know what you think. Yeah, so it's just if I hadn't seen this one, I would call that white. But now I look at it, it looks slightly warm, slightly yellow to me, and as much as I love this board, I prefer this finish of white. It's also smoother and glossier, whereas this is quite, I wouldn't say it was rough, but it's quite satiny, given the fact that it's powder coated, and this is the new electrophoresis coating. This is actually smoother than anodization. It's really, really nice. It's a lovely finish to these boards. So if you do get a chance to have a look at a JER Mini in white, then definitely take a look. Textured, yeah, that's probably a good way of putting it. It feels satin. That's the best way I can describe it. I mean, it is a lovely board, is the TX, and it's very clacky. But it's a sandwich mount board, so it's a lot stiffer. And these sound a lot more muted as well. I think this is a polycarbonate base though. What the polycarbonate does is it mutes the sound quite a lot, whereas this is full aluminium, so you're hearing that echo roll around on the inside of the case. What you get on here is that the plastic absorbs a lot of the sound, just because of the nature of it. So that's why you tend to get that much more muted sound. But yeah, it sounds great. Sounds great.
E-white is incredibly nice. It's unbelievably good as a white finish on this. It's so nice and soft and smooth. It's really nice. It feels almost like car paint when you touch car paint. That's kind of the feeling of it. But it's tough as well. It's really hard wearing and really tough. Much tougher than this white. This feels like it would damage very, very easily, like just with a slight slip of a screwdriver or anything else. I'm not worried with that board though. It's a very different feel. I struggle with my 60% says B copying. That would drive me insane. I'm more of a 65% guy, but I literally just need this to have literally have letters so I can type words, an enter key so I can drop down a line, and a space bar so I can put differentiation between us. That's literally all I need it to do. Maybe the occasional screen grab or something like that, but very, very little in terms of anything else. So that's pretty much all I need. Did you do the indicator lights? No, because I want to decide what I'm going to do with them first. Now I think my plan is going to be to put some warm white LEDs in there and have warm white underglow as well, so it's kind of like a nice complement underglow. But I need to decide what I'm going to use the LEDs for first, and I haven't decided that as yet, so that's the plan. We'll see when we get there. Sashima says it's super easy to use once you find a layout that you really like. I think in terms of the alphas I'm set, in terms of the bottom row I'm set, in terms of the shift row I'm set. In terms of this row, I'm pretty comfortable. That's just going to be enter, and that's probably just going to be tab, I think. Escape will always be escape because I need that for a couple of applications. That'll be backspace, one new backspace. I don't know if you saw when I was doing the typing test, but I was still reaching to here to do the backspace, which is where it would be on a standard 60%. So you can see I just reached to here for backspace. I need to remember that it's just in the top corner. And then the macro keys, I haven't fully decided yet. One will definitely be print screen, probably the bottom one, and we'll go from there. I just need to figure out what I'm going to do with these. Probably page up and page down because there's a lot of web browsing as well, so that's always quite useful. Yeah, open to suggestions on that. But this is going to become an artisan column as well, so I've got some complementary artisans for this colourway coming soon. So when that's there, I'll take some nice pictures of that as well. We'll get that artisan column filled. Simon Sam says, top Clack, very cool board and would love one to use with my laptop. Yeah, this is going to be used with my iPad. I've got the new iPad Pro, which is a great bit of kit, and the only problem with it is the laptop, the keyboard that's built into the case is trash. It's horrid. So instead of using that, I'm going to use this instead. Sashimi says my layout is heavily based around an HHKB. So the one thing I was going to do is I was actually going to use that as control, which is what the key is. I was tempted to use that as control and then have the Windows key and Alt key there and do it that way around, but I don't know. We'll see how we get with that. I think the bottom row is fine. I think I'll be comfortable with it as it is. We'll just try a few things out. That 1.25 on the middle row on the left is control for me. Okay, yeah, I kind of get that. I do kind of get that. There will be some occasions where I need to use the GUI key, so the GUI key, so I will have that for that purpose. The other option is I could move that to control and have the GUI key up here, for example. I don't know, maybe, we'll see. FN will still be FN because that's just what I'm used to. On all my boards I have an FN right on the outside column, so that's what we'll go with from there. Am I going to use Bluetooth with it? Potentially, I might get a little breakout board and put Bluetooth in here. There's probably just enough room for some of the new batteries that I've seen that are kind of long, thin strips, are kind of, you know, that sort of shape. There's probably just enough room on the inside of the case to fit that in. Just looking at it, yeah, I think it would fit. So maybe is the answer to that one. I'm not 100% certain on Bluetooth. I do have a cable that works, which is USB Mini to USB-C for the new iPad Pro, and that works just fine. So maybe we'll see. Big Dick Swampy says, what switches do you have in it? In this, I have the new Gateron Ink switches, which are about to go on sale this week. So Gateron Ink, 60 gram actuation, 70 gram bottom out as stock. I've changed these to 78 gram sprit springs and lubed them with 205 grade 0 on the housing and the stem, and then Krytox 106 on the spring. So there we go, guys. If there isn't going to be any more questions, I'm going to work out how I go and raid Kelly, because I think he's streaming now. Anyone confirm that in chat for me? Is Kelly streaming? Use inks or retool blacks. I think so. This has got retool blacks in it. I can show you.
there you go. Make up your own mind from that if that helps. Okay, so Kelly's streaming. Kelly, give me the link to your stream. I'm going to see if I can raid you now. If you want to drop the link into chat, I will copy and paste it in. I think if I go to your channel, I can raid you from there. I don't know enough of the commands on Twitch to be able to do it manually. Top Clack cooldown 10. Nathan Kim waiting room is now live. Down facing camera has the delay. Yeah, because this is 4K camera that's above, and this is 1080p camera that's here. There's about a fraction of a second delay. I think it's about a third of a second between when I move my hand and when. So if I do it quickly, you'll see that there is a fraction of a delay. It's just literally due to the different latencies in the cameras. Jay was at the barbers. Oh, Talisman says bye. Thank you. I haven't been at the barbers for a while. Maybe a couple of weeks now. Hey Jay, Yankar, hey man, good to see you, dude. Okay, let me quickly see if we can jump onto. Oh, I've not got a keyboard plugged in. Let me quickly plug this in. Always helps to have a keyboard plugged in on a keyboard stream. Let me see if I can raid Kelly. There's got to be an option to do this. I can see Kelly's stream now. I don't know how to do this. Someone tell me please, how do I raid him? How do I raid him? Mad Vasquez says thank you. Yeah guys, go watch Kelly's stream. I'm going to try and work out how I raid him. I don't know how to do it. Let me see. Just use /raid Holy Panels. Oh, okay, okay. Is it as easy as that? Just straight into the chat. Cool. Let me do that then. Okay, cool. Right, I'm going to do this now, guys. So I shall see you all later. Take care. Oh, it is going to go. It's going to go. It's going to work. See ya.